right? And I'm just gonna start clicking random. And I'm just gonna go until I sort of am getting stuff that I like. Ooh, really cool ambient with these great little trills. Hello everyone, it's Poetmistry. Welcome back to video number 2, where we're gonna be talking about sound design today. Now, the thing I've noticed is that when a lot of people are starting out, they really think sound design is like this top-down process, right? That your favorite artist is going and they're thinking about, oh, I want to create this crazy sound. And then, they're dialing in all the parameters and using their knowledge of envelopes and LFOs and all this like crazy stuff. But I think over the years, as I've done more, as I've talked to other artists, as I've read interviews, I realized that sound design might not be quite as intentional as you think. And for the really crazy stuff, it's just about doing these big, huge sound design sessions and then picking and choosing stuff from there. So let's dive into it and talk about how we can do one of these sound design sessions, focusing on a single effect in a way that is quick and easy, but is also getting us different results each time that we can use in our productions. Okay, let's do it. So let's dive in. And today we're going to be talking about an effect that is a little underrated, echo. So I feel like this was kind of Ableton's response to Logic's Space Designer, but it's really gotten kind of like overshadowed now that hybrid reverb is out. But again, I just feel like this is an effect that like maybe is not your go-to for weird sound design. And so like, let's see what we can do with it. So I'm going to find a break. It can really be anything. Let's just use this. Okay, and there we go. There's our break, and we can hear some echo, right? So here's the thing. Obviously, if you have knowledge of what all these parameters do, that's great, right? That is going to be helpful. And it's going to make this process a little easier, but you don't really need to know what all of these things do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this effect, hit Command G. Actually, I just change this to time mode, get things a little crazier. And I'm going to go through and I'm just going to start mapping some stuff to macros, right? So map the feedback, map the reverb, map the decay, map the dry wet. We'll put it on ping pong mode. Maybe even map like this high pass filter. Map these are pretty crazy. Now, again, I have some knowledge of like what some of these different things do, but really just like get in there and you can kind of be a bit random about it. And that actually might even be to your advantage. I may be limiting myself by what I think I know. But yeah, so that's good for now. We can go over here and click plus, and then all of those are going to show up, right? Okay, now, right, it still sounds the same, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use this rand button, and that is just going to randomize all the different parameters. And let's just listen and see if we get anything interesting. Okay. Kind of interesting there. So what I'm doing is I'm going through, and it might seem like, okay, this isn't really working, but what I'm doing is I'm kind of going through and starting to see like, okay, what are the cool sounds we're sort of getting when we are getting them? And what I'm kind of noticing is they're all sort of being overpowered by the sound of this break. So, oh, wow, that is really cool. So you can see we can get some awesome stuff there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm kind of like, okay, you know what? These are all going to be sort of better if dry wet is just sort of all the way up. Right? It's just always sort of more interesting stuff. So I'm actually going to right click on dry wet. Oh, great. And yeah, assign it a color. That's fun. We're going to go to exclude macro from randomization. And now let's try again. Right? So we're starting to get some weirder stuff here. Now, a lot of times what I notice with these sound design sessions is sometimes you get these kind of like pretty small, subtle things. So it can be good to put in some sort of compressor or just something to make things a bit louder so you can really hear some of those weirder things, right? So you can actually hear now, right? There just is noise coming through this, right? From the noise thing, which we're really getting a sense of because of this OTT. Now, if you don't want the really intense compression, you can just use a saturator and bump that up, or you can use like a glue compressor, but just for the sake of use, we'll do the OTT thing here, right? And now stuff's starting to sound actually kind of a bit crazy. like, these are some fun sounds to me. These are kind of some fun and interesting sounds to me here. And you know, what I'm almost thinking is like, maybe we can even put a gate here, just to reintroduce some of those dynamics that we're losing with the OTT. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, again, to really get things kind of crazy, the final thing we're going to do, right? So we have all this random stuff from the effect. The final thing we're going to do is just go and mess with some of the basic parameters of the break, right? So I'm double clicking on the break, right? And I'm just going to go and I'm going to hit R to reverse it. Maybe I'll pitch it up. Or actually, no, you know what? Let's double it and let's go texture mode. Always be playing with all of these different pitch, texture mode, pitch, warp mode. That is always going to be your friend with getting weird stuff. So now, let's sort of see. Right, I'm going to bump this up a little. Now, one thing I'm also noticing is that, right, obviously we just have this high pass filter, and sometimes that can be pretty far up, which is cool, but it also takes away a lot of the sound. So maybe I'll just exclude that from the randomization as well. I mean, sounding pretty cool, right? Now, oh my God, okay. I'm just gonna click that on and off. Oh, we're back at it again. I'm gonna turn it off for a sec. Now, again, we probably should have done this earlier, but you want to set up another audio track. Make sure it's set to resampling over here. Click play or click record, and then start recording, right? So we just want to keep this recording because we don't necessarily know what we're going to get and when, right? And I'm just going to start clicking random. And I'm just going to go until I sort of am getting stuff that I like. Ooh, really cool ambient with these great little trills. Well, yeah, as you go through, start changing stuff. You can also, if you have something that you kind of like, go here and, okay, what if we really bump up the feedback? Or, oh, hey, let's get a ton of reverb on that. Or maybe no reverb, right? So you can start to mess with some of these. And the thing is, as you do this, you will sort of get a sense of, you'll start to get a sense of the effect and what some of these things do. And actually, it can be a lot easier to learn kind of doing it this way, right? Always moving the delay time around can be really great. Wow, just great stuff here. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this for a sec, right? And now we have like a little, and I'm just going to, let's go down in pitch now. Okay, and let's try it again. Maybe let's spread it out even more and go grain size all the way up. Okay, and then switch back. Let me get the gate on again. Wow, awesome stuff. Okay, so that's cool. Wow, that is awesome. So I'm moving around a few things now. Oh, we should be recording this. Amazing. Let's get the gate going again. Some just really cool, fun noises here. Reverb down a little. Oh, I love those little clicky things. But yeah, so you get the point. And then, you know, what you can do, and this is for me how, you know, a lot of times certain tracks start, is what I like to do is really just stretch this out and then, you know, go through, listen for some things you like. And you can go through and just like pick stuff out, right? And what can be fun is once you have this in your whole project, a lot of times just keep it on like in a track, and it's parts of this sound design session will start to like play over the track as you're building it. And a lot of times there's some really fun, like kind of happy accidents. right? Like something like this, like, you know, even something like this is like a really great transition. Now, just a word of advice. I wouldn't say go through and like be like, I like this sound, I'm gonna pull that out. I like this sound, I'm gonna pull out that sound out. Sometimes being a bit too organized can kind of slow you down. I usually find it's best to just go get like one thing that you're really feeling and then just kind of, you know, get moving with it. Of course, the other thing you should totally be aware of is that you can take this and then a piece, and then using Alt-Shift, you can kind of move it around. So that can be a great way if you're just like in need of a quick transition kind of thing, right? It's like, okay, reverse that, do this sort of thing, maybe put up the gain, right? And then you can just sort of hear, right? So there you go, great riser. Oh, that's awesome. Right. And so you can just kind of move it around and get exactly what you want. And then, you know, it's like, oh, okay, then I want to do another riser, but I want to have like a slightly different sound. Right. That's kind of a totally different vibe. But yeah, so there you go. Some crazy stuff using echo, but really just apply this to any effect. You know, that's the key. Just do this with any effect.